Hi, this is Valerie from Vintage Art Lady in Timeless Furnishings in Bakersfield. And I wanted to talk about my finished board after I did the video to show you how to just lay down your papers. So this was the paper pack I started with. It has just some old book papers. It's also got music papers, calendar papers. This was like an old receipt book. Some papers from Tim Holtz, some little pocket cards, and then some other things that I just cut and put in there to go along with this. This actually would make 2 boards this size when I was looking at it, so to give you 2 different fun themes. I cut some of those in the back, so I'll show you as we go along. I did try to, I thought I was making a video of the whole process, but apparently my phone wasn't recording. So anyway, I'll go over the steps of the finished product. But I did have the video of putting the papers down, but now I'll do the how I kind of finish this up. It's not as fun as watching it being done, but at least you can kind of see the products that I used. So after I got that all down, which I put everything down with the Distress Collage Medium, the matte finish from Tim Holtz, which I like. It's a nice consistency. I went ahead and put, just to start out with, I put my base colors down, which I used a Hickory Smoke. These are the Distress paints. They're acrylic paints from Tim Holtz. I used the Shabby Shutters, the Hickory Smoke, and the Fossilized Amber as my first layer of color on all of those papers. So what I did is I put it down, used my little spray bottle, spritzed on some water, moved it. And my first outing of these 3 colors I thought was going to look a little different. Wasn't my favorite, but that doesn't mean anything, because with mixed media, you can just keep layering, layering, layering until you get what you like. And I do love how this turned out, because then I had to get, once I put those colors down, I had to get my inspiration, because I was just thinking rusty crusty, and then I found this piece right here, which is a little section out of this rice paper. This is Stamperia rice paper. And so I just used a wet brush to go along here, and then kind of just, pulled it apart, because I like the feel of the rice papers. You can see all the fibers in the rice paper. So that was my inspiration, which is, if at first an idea isn't absurd, there is no hope for it. So I was like, okay. And then I was looking through all my little goodies, and I found, my letters, and a little pack of these letters, and a pack, this is a Tim Holtz pack that I don't know if, I think it might be discontinued, but, so this is how those other little letters come in this little package right here. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to spell some words. And I said, what does that make me think of? So it was like, okay, if it's not absurd, I'm not saying that right, absurd, then there's no hope for it. So I was like, okay, so you need to wonder. You need to ask. And then I found more words, because you want to be genuine and be authentic and seek what you're looking for. So that was my inspiration. And I go, okay, I got to go from there. So one of my favorite things to use after I got that all down, wasn't loving those 3 colors. I love these, but this gray was kind of bothering me. So I was, okay, all right, what am I going to do next? So I took the heavy white gesso from the Art Basics with Finnabair, and I took a palette knife, and I just kind of put it down to give it some layering, to cover, to get the paint to do something different, because gesso will take colors really well. And I knew I was going to use some liquid acrylics and my new Sparks paint. So I thought, okay, well, that'll bring some color into it. So my next step was all these little rusty points right here. So that's done with the Rust Effects Paste by Finnabair. So it's a brown rust, a red rust, and a gold rust. And these 3 together make this rusty look right in here without the glittery part. So that's just the rusty like that. And I did that on the light bulb too. And so I just am a crusty, rusty girl. I do like all that stuff. So that is what I did. And then I was like, okay, well, I want some of the patina in there too, because I think it all goes really well together. So I took the key and these little wooden gears, which come in a little package, cheap, whatever. I think they're $1.99 for 24 of them. A little package. And then I did the patina paste, which is the mint green, the blue, and then this really pretty brass. That's what gives you that little shimmer right there on there. So that's like it's under the ocean patina paste or whatever, you know, it makes a really pretty effect too. So I did that on these three items right here, 4 items. So that was what I was like, okay, so I got those prepared, kind of my wonder, and, you know, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do next. So then I went, okay, well, there's my idea. And then this was in the paper pack on one side of these papers back here. So I cut out the books because that makes you, you know, I'm thinking seeking, going into books, going into that. That's where my mind went, that I was seeking. So I was like, okay, I can do that. So then I started to, you know, really do some good layers, you know, getting in there, doing some layers. So I took this stencil right here, and then I took the Art Basics light paste. It's kind of an opaque matte, but it really takes color well as well. So that's what all these little circles are right here. So then I just put the paste down and did all that, made all these little, you know, all these little circles to give it some depth. So now we have the paste, then we have the, you know, the circles, the paste, and then the rust paint. So it's giving us some depth, you know, starting out with some layers with the papers and then the, you know, the books and the other. So I was starting to like how my layers were coming together. So then my next step was putting down these stamps, which this is by Finnabair also, and it's just some inexpensive rubber stamps, and I use the circles. So that's what I use to give some more depth in here, because what you're actually doing when it's called mixed media is you're putting all these different steps together to just layers upon layers, and then whatever's going to peek through once you're all done makes a fun, you know, it's a surprise every time you do something. So it makes a surprise. So so that was what I did next, and then I decided to start layering colors. So the next thing I did was I used the liquid acrylics by Finnabair, and I started just doing the umber, which is a good, you know, kind of gives it an antique look, the avocado green, the deep turquoise, and the carmine. So in that, and I just used my spray bottle just to bring out the colors. So I'd put some color down, spray it, let it drip. Put some more colors down, spray it, let it drip. And so then it would make its own little patterns. So that's the carmine in its own little patterns. And then the deep turquoise is some of this blues down here. And then the avocado green to give it that more patina look along with the rust. So it went along with these right here. So that was my next layer. So I did that, put all my layers on there. And then I went ahead and I was like, okay, now I need to place and kind of see what I want to do with everything. So there's my light bulb. This right here is actually one of the wooden letters, but I put it on the back of just like one of these, a small one, so that it would be the same height, but it would give it, you know, something different. Covered those with the different paints on, this is one of the distress paints. This is the brass from the rust paste, or the patina paste. And that's the blue from the Tim Holtz as well. And so those, I just started to place everything. So I got it to where I liked it. And then I wanted to, you know, play with my colors here. So then the next thing I went on with was the sparks and the metallics, and oh my goodness gracious, I fell in love with these. This is the Chest of Gold, which is this, you know, the golden color. This is what's this color? Stormy Ocean, and this is Green Goblin. So love them all, and that's where we get all this shimmery. But before we, you know, so I placed that, and then I went, I want something else. So then I got what are called art stones. And these are the mega art stones and the mini art stones. They also have a medium, which I need to get because Sometimes these are just too big for what I want to do. And that gives you just another layer in between right here. And then I just dipped my paintbrush into the sparks or the metallic, put it on there, spritzed it, and that's where I got this really fun color. And then I wanted some more words because I just had wonder and I had ask, which these are little books on my ask. These are just the little, something I purchased, some little books, and like a rusty, crusty light bulb that I have in my stash. And I glued them together so that they would stay in one area. And then these here are the from Finnabair, and they come in a package, and you don't even have to make them rusty. They're as they are. And then these other little pieces here, those were just some things I have in my stash, so I don't really know. And I have some keys in my stash, so I just use those. And these are the chipboards from Tim Holtz, so they have all kinds of different words on them, and I like them because they're raised. But then I went ahead and I took, you know, my avocado green and my deep turquoise and my carmine, and I made them, you know, kind of go with the colors that I already had going on, making everything fit together, go together, you know, make it fun. So I like how it turned out. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. I did all my, oh, yes, I am leaving something out. So the way that I put all of this down so that it's, you know, not going to go anywhere, so it's not going to go anywhere, is I either use the 3D matte gel, which I put that like on the light bulb and on the smaller little items that are thin, the little light wood, things like that, I use this to put down. But for these bigger items, I didn't want them to go anywhere, so I used the heavy body gel. And I put that on all of those, this big wheel right here, this metal piece over here, and of course all the big. So I put that, and that really made everything so it's not going anywhere. This is a permanent piece of art. So I really like how it turned out. I might put a frame around it, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to show you what those, just taking the inspiration of a paper pack, which I carry different ones at the store, just the inspiration of a paper pack, and then what you can turn it into. So thanks for watching. Again, this is Valerie with Vintage Art Lady, and I'm at Timeless Furnishings, 1918 Chester Avenue in Bakersfield. And I hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you next time.